Well, good day, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a premiere. It's been a while since a premiere. I know you guys love to interact in the comments. So, I'm joined by Sam Rebel tonight. I'm doing my NRL Round 22 tips. Cracking round last week. I got 7 out of 8. I did say that the only upset of the week that I saw coming was the Knights beating the Tigers, but I didn't tip it. Not a game that I got right. But Parramatta, they're in some form. They got up against the Sea Eagle. The Roosters, they're really hitting some form. So you're starting to see in the back half of the season the good side of the top 8, and obviously those teams that were fighting for the 8 that are now really struggling. But it all starts on Thursday night with a cracking game between the Panthers and the Storm. Well, let's welcome Sam Rebel. Welcome back to the channel.
Howdy, House. Thank you for having me on again. I myself was pretty poor last weekend, probably my worst weekend of the entire year. I got 4 from 8, and I tipped the Tigers where you tipped the Knights, so kudos to you, man. But I also tipped the Panthers, man. I discredited their premiership credentials against Canberra, who have been in and out throughout season 2022. But I'm so excited to get into these tips again and collaborate with you.
I've got the dog biting my foot, so just give me one moment. Can you please move the dog, man? Oh. All right, that'll be clipped by a fan or a hater of some sort. But let's get straight into it. Hopefully, you can get 8 out of 8 as a bit of a redemption for this week. I've got my feet up on the chair now, nice and comfy, like it's a recliner, so that's much better, much more organised. The Panthers, they're sitting in first place, going up against the Melbourne Storm. Earlier in the season at Magic Round, these two teams met, and the Panthers, well, they dominated the Melbourne Storm, and that's where the Storm's kind of, what's the word, in and out of form, consistency factor started to come in with some losses. As for this game, it looks like, just checking the team list now, James Fisher-Harris has been ruled out for the Panthers, meaning that we have Matt Eisenhuth coming in, and Chris Smith is in the back row for the injured Viliami Kikau, who was out last week as well. A few big outs for the Storm. You've got Felice Kafusi out. My condolences go out to Felice Kafusi and his family. Obviously, a tragic loss for the family earlier in the week. And Jerome Hughes is out, which is a big out for the Storm, meaning that Cooper Johns has been named in the number 7. This is a really interesting clash. There are a few options I thought that they could go with in the halves and the fullback option. Obviously, Tyrone Wishart looks like he's been named in jersey 17. Normally, he's 14. So an interesting spot for him, whether he'll get much game time, because I haven't think he's played his best footy personally. But great to see Nick Meaney back. He's been kind of in and out of that side all year due to injury and things. And tell you what, they weren't the best against the Titans, but they were able to get the win. But look, for this game, I'm going to go with the Panthers. And it's funny because I always have my score ready to go here. So I'm kind of winging this. I think that the Panthers win a tighter one than people think. And I think it will be low scoring. I think that Melbourne will struggle to score points. But I still think they'll be fairly good for the most part defensively. So I'm going to tip Penrith by 12. And I'm going to go with a scoreline of 22 points to 10. I think that the Panthers' attack can score plenty of tries. I think the Storm can still score a couple, but the Penrith Panthers at home should be too big, too strong.
Nicely said, mate. I, on sportsbet.com.au, can see that the Panthers are $1.55 to the Melbourne Storm $2.45. I think Penrith Panthers have a few out, so I'm kind of surprised that's why Melbourne are a little bit further out. I would have had them a little bit more in, just quietly. So I think there's a bit of value on the Storm for tipping in this contest. Dylan Edwards is under an injury cloud. Viliami Kikau has been named in the reserves list, so there could be a sneaky chance that he pops on to the bench for, say, Taruva. I think the Penrith Panthers defense was the most impressive part of their win against the Canberra Raiders last weekend. I'm with you. I think you're on the money as well, where I think the Melbourne Storm won't score all that many points. I am going to tip the Penrith Panthers 1-12, but sort of comfortable, same sort of score line as you. I'm going to go 20 points to 8 on Thursday. And I think Dylan Edwards is going to score an anytime try. Not first time, but anytime.
Oh, I can't believe you said that, because I haven't got a first try scorer ready to go. I'm looking at that list, but I have Dylan Edwards later in an anytime try scorer multi. You obviously mentioned he's under an injury cloud, so that's a bit of a worry there. I'm going to go with Appy Coruscant, first try scorer. That's going to be my first try scorer. And then I mentioned Dylan Edwards at any time. Have you got a first try scorer prediction for this game?
Let's go over to the Melbourne Storm because I do think they will score a try or two on Thursday. So looking at it, I reckon I'll go Justin Olam, anytime try scorer.
Justin Olam, love it. Well, let's move away from that game. It's a cracking game. We've got a few top 8 clashes, really exciting. We've got a bottom of the 8 clash, which is the Warriors back at New Zealand. Another game at Mount Smart Stadium. Great to see. Going up against the Bulldogs, who, look, I tell you what, the Bulldogs, they definitely could have beaten the Cowboys, but they just didn't play for 80 minutes the other day. They definitely played some really good footy, and I'm loving that Matt Burton, Josh Adokar combination. I'm a really, really big fan. Love watching it. So I just don't want to buy too much into that for this tip because I think the Warriors, I think a lot of people think that their value here, and they're about $2.45. They are at home. They're kind of avoiding the spoon. They're not quite there in regards to the Tigers or the Titans, but they're definitely in the mix, the Warriors. But I really haven't been impressed with them. They conceded 38 points last week or lost by 38 against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. But I think the Bulldogs are going to do a job on them here. And I think this is going to be a blowout score. I think they've been playing some really good footy. I'm actually a little bit pissed off because I can see that Tavita Pangai Jr. is ruled out, who was my first try scorer prediction going into this lineup. Aaron Penne is out for the Warriors. So moving to lock is Raymond Faitala Mariner. Look, I'm going to go with crazy scoreline. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs 26 points to 4. So I'm going to go 1 try to the Warriors at home, unfortunately. I just think their season's pretty much over. And I'm going to go with Aaron Shoup to score the first try of the game.
Yeah, the Warriors have been scoring. Besides up until last week, they were scoring points. Edward Cossey is in try-scoring form as well. But, yeah, the Bulldogs are just in much better form overall compared to the Warriors. I think Matt Burton has been wonderful this season. Last week against the Cowboys, he nearly kicked us towards a loss, man. He was sensational. I am going to tip the Bulldogs. Yeah, why not? 13 plus, man. 13 plus. I don't think they'll keep out any points. I think the Warriors will score some points themselves, though. I think I'll go Jeremy Marshall-King as an anytime try scorer in this game, and a first try scorer. I'll go with Jacob Carraz.
Jacob Carraz. Well, it always seems to be Josh Adokar, so hopefully someone else gets it. I think he was about $11 odds last week, which is outrageous, but he's just scoring every week, Adokar.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I can't trust the Warriors. They were dreadful in that first half, in particularly last week.
I've seen a lot of betting companies lean towards the Warriors, and I'm quite surprised. I really am. I think the Bulldogs are playing some much better footy. Let's not forget, it was never going to happen, but the Bulldogs were actually in a position last week until they lost that game where they were a chance of mathematically playing finals. That is crazy. This is a team we had wooden spoon at the start of the year, and they've really hit some form. I think they can take a lot out of that that loss against the Cowboys.
I think so too, man. The Cowboys, they turned it up in the middle. They started controlling the ruck, and the Warriors, while there are a couple of big boppers in Aiden Fanua-Blake, I don't see the Warriors dominating the ruck long enough to keep the Bulldogs at bay. So the Bulldogs, I think, have got way too many points in them, bro. 26 points to 4 scoreline, as you said, is not outside the realms of possibility, bro. But I think
the Warriors
but they've already had the one loss this year at Mount Smart against the Melbourne Storm, who haven't been in tip-top shape themselves. So, yeah, Bulldogs 26 to 12.
26 to 12.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into the next game. I don't have my jersey on, but I will have it for tomorrow night's Talking Para podcast. Can't wait to talk about this game. It's the Eels and the Rabbitohs. Well, Parramatta coming off a huge, I guess, win against the Manly Seagulls, a 13-plus win against the Manly Seagulls in a game that we look like losing. And in the past, Parramatta would have lost that game by plenty of points, especially with Mitchell Moses out. Really, really impressive. So Kai Rodwell, I believe, is he on the bench? No, he's in the reserves. The only change for the side is that Makatoa has been either picked up an injury or dropped. It doesn't really say. And Ofahigi Ogden comes in jersey 14. Bryce Cartwright once again. Bailey Simonson is in jersey 19. I feel like he'll probably have a week in reserve grade and may be back next week, which might push, I hate to say it because he's been good defensively, but Tom Opacek out of the side. I don't think Brad Arthur's going to drop Will Penasini, even though I think he could probably use some time in reserve grade to Liverpool.
Yep.
As for the Rabbitohs, they look unchanged. Tamasele returns from a hamstring injury in the front row. Thomas Burgess has served his suspension, but is still carrying an injury, and Campbell Graham is still sidelined. So, yeah, the Rabbitohs, they have the wood over the Parramatta Eel, especially when it's home game for them. They have the woods. It's interesting this is a home game for us. We're sitting fifth in the ladder, and we are potentially a chance of actually being in the top four come this weekend, which is absolutely crazy considering a lot of people were saying the Parramatta Eels are about to miss the 8. Get ready. Ha, ha, ha. Well, look who's laughing now. I mean, we're not there just yet, but look, I was really impressed with the side last week, and I wasn't all that impressed in recent weeks with the Rabbitohs, even though they had a 1-point loss. I thought that there was a lot of referee calls their way in that Sharks game. Scored plenty of points last week. Looked good with Latrell. I'm going to tip South Sydney here. I hate to do it. I think they have the wood over us. I want us to win because obviously I think that, and especially the way I've tipped, which could be a spoiler later on. Oh, I don't know. But I think South Sydney will win in a very tight game. I think it'll be a very, very tight game. So tight that I'm going to tip the South Sydney Rabbitohs by 6. I'm going to go 24 points to 18. I think that there'll be plenty of try scorers. So take your pick at who's going to score a try, just like the Rabbitohs last week, producing plenty of points. And I think that our attack looks much better. And I think the big thing, and it could be a key to winning this game, I'm going to mention is Ofahigi Ogden in the side. It just brings more, big body factor. Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo keep getting taken off the field at the same time. And that's when Parramatta attack goes missing. So to have a big boy in there who can create that offload, get those big meters, hopefully he can run for, say, 100 meters off the bench if he does get more than 10 minutes. Brad Arthur, I'm talking to you. Then this could go a long way to being the key to victory. But I'm going to go, 24-18. Can we score first? Probably not. I'm going to go with Jackson Paulo to score the first try of the game.
Last time that these two sides met, House, it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Rabbitohs got the win big time, 36-12 or something like that. And it was wet weather footy. We're expecting wet weather footy this weekend in Sydney. The Parramatta Eels are a different beast at CommBank Stadium. I look at the South Sydney's right edge. It's Isaac Thompson and Isaiah Tass, and they'd be lining up against Wanga Blake, if I'm not mistaken. But in any event, I think Parramatta Eels can score some points down that side of South Sydney's right edge defence. On the left-hand side, obviously, you've got Alex Johnston, who's climbing up that try-scoring ladder so quickly these days, man. He could be a chance to become all-time. It's awesome, and I hope he does it. I am going to tip, though, South Sydney Rabbitohs. I think Latrell Mitchell, it was against the Warriors last week, but he got involved quite a fair bit. And, he got taken off.
Cameron Murray as well.
But Cameron Murray as well, of course. But I think Latrell Mitchell has been last week was very, very good. And I'll go Wanga Blake as a first-time try scorer. I think this will be a close game as well. I'll go a scoreline of a couple of goal kicks here and there, maybe a similar scoreline to you. I'll go, I think 24-18. Yeah,
same as me.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. No, I really do. I like it, dude. Yeah, 24-18.
Well, we're both tipping the Rabbitohs in that one, which pains me to say. Hopefully, once again, like I said in the Penrith game, hopefully I eat my words. Well, let's move into your boy, Now, it's the Sydney Roosters, not your boys, but the Sydney Roosters in 8th position, going up against the North Queensland Cowboys. I love it.
Second on the ladder, baby.
How good is the Cowboy train in 2022? They have been impressive. Now, I just want to ask you, because, guys, over on Sam Rebel's channel, he does do a preview each week. Will you be doing a preview for this game, or just this will be it?
No, we're talking now, mate.
All right, let's get into it, because sometimes I watch your tips and I have to wait for that video to come out. But Roosters in 8th, Cowboys in 2nd. Let me say this. There have been a lot of tip changes in my head for this game. This is a game I kind of want to go to, but I will be in Canberra, which I believe you will be on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken as well, which stops me from getting to this game. But the Roosters and the Cowboys have really struggled against the Roosters, especially in recent years. And the Cowboys' record in Sydney hasn't been great. They did beat the Dragons last week. I have thought there are a lot of weaknesses in the Cowboys as well, and I've been saying that they're kind of due a loss. Add into that today that I see that James Tedesco is playing his 200th game of NRL, and I'm like, rooster, rooster, rooster. But I tell you what, at $2.25 and at second on the ladder, with the Sharks having an easier draw, in my opinion, than the Cowboys to try and overtake them, I'm tipping the Cowboys here. I don't think many people will. I think a lot of people are going to fall into the trap here. And that's what happened last week. A lot of people tipped Brisbane to beat Roosters. And you look at that result based off, you're one of those people. You look at that result based off recent form of team. And based off recent form of team, even though I don't think the Cowboys are playing that well, I still think that the Cowboys can score enough points to get the job done, even if it does be a comeback. Now, one of the things I really like for this game is over the total points. I reckon this is going to be a hella high scoring game. I think this total is set at 42. Is it weather footy on Saturday? You did mention Friday. That could come into it. I'm going to stick with my original tip. I'm going to go the Cowboys by 10 in my head. I'm going to go the Cowboys 30 to the Roosters 20. And for the first try scorer, I am going to go with Valentine Holmes to score first.
So, North Queensland Cowboys, last time I read, were at $2.10. So there's a little bit better value on them. As you've just said, $2.25. This is the first time ever, and maybe the only time, that the North Queensland Cowboys play on the Sydney Cricket Ground. And I've got my ticket, and I'll be there, Entertain House. Hail, rain or shine, man. This is absolutely massive, as you just stated as well. The Cronulla Sharks are looking like the Jaws poster, and the Cowboys logo's right up here, man. They are coming for second spot, but thank goodness that the Cowboys have a better for and against and are one win better than the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks with only 4 rounds to go. This is a blockbuster, man. Look, biased, but this is the game of the round. Both of these sides, you could argue, are the most informed sides in the comp besides Penrith, who are on a completely different level as well. The matchup of Suwali versus Murray Taulagi, Joseph Manu versus Valentine Holmes, that's worth the price of admission, man. That's where it's all going to be won. And I said that last time, earlier this season. These two sides met back in round 4. The Cowboys just beat the Brisbane Broncos, smashed them in a derby. 1 week later, the Roosters came up to our bloody pen and destroyed us, 28 points to 4. They humbled us. They gave us a reality check. Now, the game, I think the wheel has changed a little bit. The Cowboys are going to be a lot more ready. These Cowboys, all 17 or 18 of them, Todd Payton as well, they're a part of history this weekend and a part of James Tedesco's 200th game, which is, oh, damn it. If there was one weekend you didn't want it to fall on, as if you want to give that bloke any more pep in his step. Fair income. This is going to be a great game of footy. It's such a shame that it's predicted to be wet weather football. I am going to tip the Cowboys as well. I think the Roosters played with, they really wanted it. Last time we played them, they came up to Townsville House and they played with a really they played so confidently that it simmered on arrogance, and they did that without Trent Robinson. Tedesco was, we're not losing this game tonight, boys. They really gave us a kick in the teeth that night. But again, I think the Cowboys have evolved since then. I think they're going to be better for it. I think of games, with all due respect, House, against the Parramatta Eels, where we got you guys a couple of weeks after that loss to the Roosters. But yeah, I think James Tedesco will be an anytime try scorer in his 200th. I really believe that. For the Cowboys, I think I look at the interchange bench, and I think maybe Luciano Leilua can get the try. I think there's a lot. I think we've got a little bit more X factor than the Roosters bench. Put it like that. I'll say it like that. Also, speaking of the Cowboys bench, Jordan McLean is back for us this weekend. He tore his hamstring in the Origin camp, and before that, he was in sensational form. He was in really, really good form for us, so that's a massive in. We're a big-looking pack. I would argue that we are bigger than the Sydney Roosters. I think the Sydney Roosters could make a very good case to have a better backline than us, but that's why it makes this weekend's game so exciting, man. First time ever Cowboys on the SCG, and maybe the only time. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Plenty of points in it. I'm going to go Cowboys by 2 points. I'm going to go 20 points to 18 on Saturday afternoon.
I just want to mention, if the Roosters do win this game, do you think that it dead set means that top 8 is set? I think there's a high chance it is set, but I still think the Raiders are breathing down the Roosters' neck. So,
I don't. I think if Roosters win this game and the next, I think if they win this game and the next, then I think it'll be too much for the Raiders and Manly to creep up on them, man. So, yeah, it's very close, but no, I think they can afford one more loss, Roosters. Put it like that.
Let's hope the loss is this week. Let's move into the next game. It's the West Tigers. Everyone tipped the West Tigers against the Newcastle Knights last week, and their attack was dismal. They won the second half, but I tell you what, they played some terrible footy. And Farm Manure Brown has been really, really good since his return from injury, but he should not have gone for the try at dummy half with 5 seconds to go, which led to the pressure of the Dane Laurie drop ball. It was a crazy, crazy ending to that game, but it was also one of the worst games of the year, in my opinion. But the West Tigers are sitting in 15th. A lot of people had them in 16th. There's still a chance of 16th. Going up against the Sharks, who... The Sharks, for mine, have been leaking points. However, they have been like the Cowboys, where they've looked shaky, but still been able to grind out wins, even against teams that they should be, like the Bulldogs, I guess, or Manly, kind of blowing out. So, look, I think that the Sharks win this game well. I just want to check if there's any ins and outs. Connor Tracy is out for this game. Ken Mamalo is out for the Tigers. So, on the wing for the Tigers is Stafford Toa, who's been some good form, and Brent Naden. And then in the centres, you've got James Roberts with Asu Kapoa and Lachlan Miller. Is that the Olympian? Oh, Lockie Miller is back for the Sharks. I love that. I've been calling for that for quite a while. I thought he was fantastic at fullback against the Titans. So, yeah, this will be a blowout score. I'm going to go with a 36-12. 36-12 to the Sharks. And anytime try scorer, maybe even first try scorer. Let's go Cade Dykes. It's his second game of NRL. Didn't get a meat pie on debut. He's going to get one this week. Tigers are going to get whooped.
Yeah, very much so. These two sides again met earlier this season, and that was a massive win to the Cronulla Sharks. I think it was a very similar scoreline to what you just said. The West Tigers last week, man, we all fell for the trap, didn't we? If you tipped for the West Tigers, Cronulla Sharks, yeah, House, man, they're playing very, very well. It's just, I don't know. I really, Penrith Panthers was a great performance, and they naturally would have been up for it. But yeah, Cronulla Sharks, man, they're just, I really can't wait to see how they go in finals, man. I'm with you. There's something else that I'd like to see from him. Maybe less errors, obviously, but Yeah, in any event, Cronulla Sharks are going to win this game 13 plus, and I think Ronaldo Mulitalo is going to score a double and be one of the first, or be the first try scorer in this game. And this contest is happening up at Tamworth as well, but Cronulla Sharks 13 plus, man.
Cronulla, don't let me down. My best bet last week was the Sharks -8. You had one job. You beat the Dragons by more than 9 points. This week, I am taking my best bet in this game. My best bet is the Sharks 13 plus, currently paying $2. Double your money. It will be backed into lower odds by game day. I expect this to be into about $1.75. Get on it at $2, Sharks 13 plus.
Yeah.
Last week, let's just mention this because we'll get to the best bet segment later. But last week, the Sharks and the Dragons, it all came down to that game for the EH multi for the week to get up. And this time it was the Dragons not losing by a certain amount. And they needed to lose by a certain amount. The week before against the Cowboys, I had taken them plus 22, so them to lose by less than 22. So I can't trust betting on the Sharks or the Dragons, but I consistently think there is value in the Sharks. But the bookies have it right, so I'm a bit worried, but you'll see the EH multi later.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but you sort of just said it there, like, you expect Cronulla to win 13 plus, they only win by 6. And it changes in various different ways as well. So, bet in any event, Cronulla Sharks 13 plus, man. Sharkies 13 plus.
Well, let's move into the next game. It's the Brisbane Broncos who have gone back-to-back losses. I'm just trying to remember who they lost to 2 weeks ago. Remind me, I'm having a blank.
Roosters.
They lost to Roosters, and previously they lost
check.
I actually am having a
West
blank.
West Tigers.
West Tigers. I tipped the Tigers. That's right. I tipped the Tigers for that game. And up against the Newcastle Knights, who are coming off a win. So they've got a bit of confidence. They're not at home, though. They probably like that because they haven't got a good record at home in 2022. The Newcastle Knights, they've been much better on the road. Broncos are sitting in 7th. A lot of team, and they still could. A lot of people had this team for the top 4. They are pushing for that kind of top 4 spot. I'm just trying to look at the changes. So Tessie New is out and putting Tamari Martin back to fullback, who was sensational. Up until that game where he was ruled out against the Eels, he's been in some really good form. And Dean Mariner is out. So their back line is Selwyn Cobbo back, Brenko Lee, Katoni Staggs, Corey Oates, and Tamari Martin. As for the Newcastle Knights, Mitchell Barnett and Jake Clifford are both out. So their halves pairing is Anthony Milford and Adam Clune. I was impressed with the Knights for the first half last week, but they beat themselves in the second half. Obviously, they won the game, but yeah, lots of drop ball, lots of errors. It seems to be the Newcastle Knights this year. Like the Raiders, they only seem to play one half of footy, but unlike the Raiders, they actually can get some wins when they do it. Not much to say. Brisbane Broncos 13 plus. I'm going to go with a scoreline of 30 points to 12. I think on a Saturday night in Brisbane, I don't know what the weather is in Queensland, but if it's good weather, Suncorp Stadium, plenty of points. So, yeah, I'll go 30 points to 12. And let's go Selwyn Cobbo, first try scorer. Let's go Selwyn Cobbo. It's great to have him back. Cobbo, first try scorer, and Broncos by 18.
Yeah, I'm along the same wavelength as you, bro. The Newcastle Knights, you just take the 2 points and run, but you don't read too much out of that victory against the West Tigers last weekend. And their record overall in Queensland is really, really poor, man. Even when they shifted their asses up, the whole competition did up to Queensland last season. Their record is something like 30 losses and 10 wins over the past 10 years or something like that. It's a really bad record, and they're coming up against the Broncos side that's lost a couple in a row. They're going to be all fired up. Tamari Martin makes them look classier along that spine, and Ezra Mam should have a good game, so I'll go him as an anytime try scorer. And I think a score line, I think they're absolutely going to smash the Knights, man. Honestly, I think it's going to be a 38 points to 6 scoreline for the Brisbane Broncos, man. So Broncos big time 13 plus. And you say Selwyn Cobbo, not only will I say Ezra Mam anytime, but like Tony Staggs down that edge, he's probably due a meat play as well. So I'll go Mam and a Staggs combination sort of thing.
Could be some money to be won on this game, guys, thanks to the anytime try scorer tips. Well, let's move into the next game that we'll both be at. Is that right?
Yeah, man. So I'm backing it up. I'm driving up to Sydney, driving down the same day, and I'll be back at the footy the very next day for this one. So I might see you there, dude.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, I will be home at about 12:30 a.m. from Canberra on Sunday night to be working Monday morning. So not looking forward to that. But the Canberra Raiders, they sit in ninth in a big game where, if I'm not mistaken, they'll be without their coach, Ricky Stewart, not allowed to attend this game. Up against the Dragons, who, again, this is kind of their last chance for that top 8 spot. Moses Mbai at fullback still. Cody Ramsey has been named in jersey 21. Will he be back? He'd be a huge inclusion for that side if he is back. Nick Kotrick out for the Raiders, and their best player for the year by a country mile, Joe Tarpanay, is out as well. Tarek Sims and Francis Molo are out for the Dragons. So it's a really, really even contest. And I think I'm going to go with the home field advantage. I think I'm going to tip Canberra by 4. I do not have much confidence. I would have this game at $1.90 odds, but I think the Dragons are about $2, $2.10. I know that they're definitely underdogs because of their position on the ladder, and the Raiders obviously have a soft draw, in my opinion, coming up. I'm going to go with... you know what? I'm going to go with Adam Elliott, first try scorer. I'm going to go a roughie there. I think he's been fantastic.
Yep.
And I don't think the Dragons' middle defense has been good. I'll tell you what, there's a bit of value probably in Jack DeBellin to score a try for the Dragons because he's scored in back-to-back games now. So I'm going to go the Raiders by 4.
This whole Ricky Stewart dilemma could derail the Canberra Raiders, obviously. It could be a massive distraction and headache for them leading into and on Sunday. The Dragons with Ben Hunt could mastermind an ambush, and these Raiders-Dragons games, man, can be very, very exciting sometimes. It's proven to be that over the past 15 years or so. Ooh, I did not know that Joe Tarpanay was out of this game, man. That's a huge out.
As a big loss, Josh Papali'i got to step up, but in Tarpanay's absence is Emre Gula, and Corey Horsburgh moves into jersey 16.
And I look at the Canberra Raiders back line, man, and while they're all talented players individually, man, I think as a unit, it looks very young, and I think Zach Lomax and Jack Bird could do some damage to them. So really hard to pick now, man. I think, though, it's like there's too much on the line for the Raiders to put in another average performance again. And the Dragons, man, yeah, I'll go Raiders 1-12 in a thriller. I wouldn't be surprised if I changed my tip. I'll keep you all updated. This is going to be that close, but at the moment, I'll go Raiders 1-12 with a scoreline of 26-24. 26-24, high scoring.
What about a draw? Might see a draw, mate. Pretty even.
Well, last time 2 busted sides went head to head. It nearly resulted in a draw. Raiders 1-12, 26-24. Anytime try scorer Xavier Savage.
Love it. Final game of the round. It's the Gold Coast Titans, the potential wooden spooners, looking closer to the spoon with a tough game against the Manly Seagulls. They're sitting in 10th at the moment. Let's have a look at the Manly Seagulls side. Tanelia Paseka is out for this game. Josh Schuster still on the reserves. So Aloye, Bullymore, Ben Trebojevic, and Dylan Walker. And then in the starting side comes, my app just crashed. There it is. Martin Tapau in jersey number 10, with Sipley coming to the starting side in jersey number 8. As for the Titans, Aaron Booth is out. Obviously, a season-ending knee injury. Not good for Aaron Booth there. On the reserves for the Titans, plenty of normal first grade names. You've got Jared Wallace, Corey Thompson, and Toby Sexton. So Greg Marju in jersey number 14, Brimson, Tanner Boyd in the halves with Campbell at fullback in this kind of new look Titans side. Oh, they're rolling the dice here, the Titans. They got to win this game if they want to avoid the spoon. I think if they do lose this game, I think it's the game that Manly are a little bit vulnerable. I think Manly played quite well, and they had the lead for most of the game against the Parramatta Eels at home last week, but obviously got exposed in the middle. I tell you what, I'm going to tip Manly. I wasn't going to. There's one reason. If Kieran Foran doesn't play, I will officially change my tip to the Gold Coast. I will do it. Kieran Foran is carrying an injury. He was the best player on the field last week. He brings a lot more currently in the Manly attack than Daly Cherry Evans does, in my opinion. Daly Cherry Evans was off the other night, but I just think Foran has been much better in recent weeks. If Foran plays, I still think it'll be tight.
Yep.
I'll go the same score. I'll go Manly 20 to the Titans 16, or Titans 20 to Manly 16 if Kieran Foran is ruled out. So at present, I'm tipping Manly, but I'll keep my eyes on that one. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to go AJ Brimson. Alexander Brimson's going to score.
Okay, man. Manly have a very good record against the Gold Coast Titans. Last year, they went up and won a thrilling game, like 56 points to 24. They have a very good record against the Titans on the Gold Coast. Titans, I did not expect for them to go this badly. I didn't have them in my 8, but I didn't have them as last, bro. This is definitely, obviously, one of the last chances for them to avoid the wooden spoon, and they've also got to hope that Tigers don't spring an upset over the next couple of weeks as well. I understand why people think this could be a danger game for Manly, considering they're coming off of some off-field drama as well over the past couple of weeks. But I trust that Manly will go up and get the job done because mathematically their season is still alive. They do have to hope that Roosters and Raiders go down this weekend, and if that happens, they are still well and truly alive, man. So there's a lot to play for the Sea Eagles. I do think Titans will score points as well. I look at Jojo Fafita, who's been a really impressive rookie, not Rookie of the Year, but he's been really impressive in his time on the field. And he's coming up against the likes of Kohler and Tuapolotu. And that side of Manly has proven to leak some points so far in 2022. So I think Jojo Fafita and or Philip Sami can be a first-time, anytime try scorer. But I am still going to go for Manly. I'm going to go 24 points to 12 on Sunday.
There we go. Well, yeah, like I said, I'll probably go Manly, but I don't know. If Foreign's out, they'll probably bring Schuster into the 6, I'd say. And I feel like they're a little bit vulnerable here, the Sea Eagles, which you mentioned due to off-field drama and obviously back-to-back losses. So they must win this game. Well, let's move into the best bet segment. If you don't have a best bet, that's completely fine. I've got a couple multis here to share. And I have noticed that the Sharks 13 plus, as we've been talking, has moved into $1.81. $1.89. So, yeah, it was $2, guys. It was my best bet.
Yo.
I'm still going to stick with it. It's pretty much at $1.90. I don't know why it's not just $1.90. It's pissing me off. I'm going to take the Panthers minus 3.5. I think they could win against the Storm 13 plus, but I'm going to tip them 1-12. I think they'll win by a try at least. I'm going to take the Bulldogs head-to-head over the Warriors. Not going to touch that 1-12, 13 plus. Just get the job done and go there. Roosters, Cowboys. I'm going to take over 36.5 points. Now, I know it's raining, which worries me, but I think both of these sides have plenty of strike and attack, and I've got 50 points scored, so over 36. And the Sharks, 13 plus. If this comes down to Cronulla stuffing me up again, I won't bet on the Sharks for the rest of 2022. But all up multi, $6.55. So that is Entertain House multi for you guys for the week. As for the try scorers, anytime, or we've mentioned them, but a bit of value. We've both gone Dylan Edwards. He is $2.90. He loves scoring at Bluebet Stadium. He does it quite often. He did it against the Cowboys, I believe. I think he did it against the Eels. So, yeah, against the Melbourne Storm, who I guess are one of those quality, tough sides, he can do it. I mentioned Aaron Shoop, who is $3.15. Massive value against a kind of vulnerable Warriors edge. So I'm going to go Aaron Shoop. I believe you mentioned Wonga Blake.
Yes, I think I would have. Yeah, down Isaac Thompson and Isaiah Tass's right edge defense for South Sydney. I think that Wonga Blake one of the wingers, I think it was Wonga Blake, will be an anytime try scorer anyway.
Well, he's $2.20, so not bad value there against the Bunny. Valentine Holmes is $3. I think the Roosters' defense is good, but I think he can squeeze through, so that's a good one. Kade Dykes, I think he's very low. I guess it's the Tigers, but $2.30, I think it's pretty low. Selwyn Cobbo is $1.48. You mentioned that you think the Broncos are going to just destroy them, so that's probably why. Adam Elliott is $6.50. Massive value there for an anytime try. And AJ Brimson at $3.75. So, look, I'm going to pick 5 of them, all up multi, 111. And I'm going to go with a more, I think this is a chance. We're going to go with Dylan Edwards, Aaron Shoop, Wonga Blake, Selwyn Cobbo, and AJ Brimson to score a try. And that gets you $111. So that is it for my value. Anything else to add, Sam?
Yeah, I just really think that Cobbo and Mulatalo, there's going to be doubles coming their way this weekend. So that's where I'd place it all, man.
Yep, absolutely. Some great value there. Cobbo to score 2 tries and Mulatalo to score a double. And we're both on the Cowboys, who are $2.25. I won't involve them in my multi, but big value there. And I think the line is 4.5. So you tipped the Cowboys by 2. So great value in that $1.90 of Cowboys plus 4.5. Well, Sam, thank you very much for coming on the channel. It's been a while. I believe last thing we did was NFL related, which we should try and do throughout the season because it's starting soon. How exciting!
I'm so excited, man. And there is content coming from me and I hope from you as well, bro. But yes, we will collaborate in the future. Thank you for having me again, man. It's been too long. Thank you.
No worries, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this premiere. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Next week, we are about 3 weeks away from finals. So we'll try and get a giveaway next week for a huge game against the Bulldogs. But that's it from me. That's it from Sam. Go subscribe to his channel and I'll see you guys later.